Does anyone else feel like the second they hit their 30s, all the algorithms were like, hey, you know about retinoids, right? Retinol, retinal, tretinoin, adapalene, retinoids! When it comes to skincare marketing, I have a healthy amount of skepticism. As a 36-year-old millennial, I came of age during a time in skincare marketing where the message was, if it's not burning, it's not working. I used to just slap salicylic acid toner on my face and walk out the door. No barrier support, no moisturizer, and sunscreen. Whoops, I did not wear that. So let's just say I was a little wary and resistant to starting a new active ingredient. But the more I looked into it, the more I realized how much research there is to back retinoids' claims. This is an active ingredient that has a ton of data showing that it works for a lot of different skin concerns. So I decided to turn my skepticism into an experiment and give it a go for the first time. However, using a retinoid isn't just like switching to a new kind of a moisturizer. My typical approach of just slap it on and hope for the best was not going to work here. I have dry skin that's prone to redness, and a retinoid can be really irritating. The more I started to research how to do it right for my situation, the more I felt overwhelmed. So much conflicting advice. Start with a retinol, start with a retinal. Don't ever start with a retinal. What are you doing? Super noisy. Not to mention all the other things you have to remember, like apply it to dry skin and make sure to use ceramides alongside it and never ever skip SPF. Research alone felt like a second part-time job I didn't ask for. And don't get me wrong, it can be fun to learn about the biochemistry of active ingredients. But I have a job and a kid and a life and a lot on my plate. For me, thinking about the sequence and the order of my active ingredients is not something I have space for. I turned to the Camellia Labs app to give me a little bit of calm. I told it my goals and it gave me a few options. A retinol plan, which has apparently the most research behind it, a retinal plan, which is a newer ingredient with less research but can be less irritating, and then a couple options without retinoids, like a vitamin C or a peptide and ceramide focused protocol. I needed to think about whether or not I was ready to start a retinoid, so I started with the ceramide and peptide plan to work on my barrier. As the app suggested, I saw results in a couple weeks and I felt like I was ready to upgrade my approach. So today I'm introducing the heavy hitter, the retinal. I love the peptide and ceramide moisturizer I got from Prequel so much that I ended up going with Prequel's retinal. I told my Camellia Labs app I was ready to start my retinal protocol. Made sure I had a couple of important things on hand, like a solid moisturizer with ceramides, yep, check, and an SPF, and then it gave me instructions to start. I don't have to keep track of what to use when or the sequence. Camellia Labs reminds me what to do. So on an evening like this one where my son has a stomach bug, and by the time I get to my bathroom counter I'm so tired, I can still use a heavy hitter like retinol.